Welcome back, you guys. How you all doing? I'm Michy FC. This is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another news daily video. Now we have some big, breaking, epic news surrounding Kai Havertz and his potential move to our club. And I'm also going to speak about two other stories as well. They are going to be around the future of Michy Batshuayi, and I'll be giving my thoughts and opinions on suggestions stating that we could see the new 5-sub rule extended to the following season. That could have some massive implications. Expect to hear all the discussion today, you guys. And before I continue on, if you like today's video, if you're still happy after last night, if you're happy that we could be signing Kai too, I want to see you guys hit that like button like you never hit it before. I'm going to be ambitious and I'm going to go for 3,500 likes. So let's see what happens. You guys have been absolutely killing it these days. I really do appreciate all the support. It means a lot. And it really is a massive motivator to just keep grinding, to keep producing videos and producing content for you guys. So without wasting any more time, because I'm starting to go on a monologue, we start with the first story, and I think it's best we break down these new Kai Havertz reports. Now this Havertz news keeps intensifying and intensifying. I did mention a point about Havertz in my previous video on him, where I stated that when I saw his reaction after that loss to Bayern Munich, my impression was that that was the final game he had played for them. That was why he was so frustrated and visibly angry on the field too. And based on these new reports that have come out, it seems like Kai Havertz has put down an ultimatum to Leverkusen, telling them that he wants to leave this summer, he wants to leave now. And when you hear news like that, you can't help but think that it implies that we are currently the favourites. Now hold on to what I just said, because I'm going to come back to this and further explain my point. Anyway, this news was broken from German outlets, and they're saying that Kai wants to leave. At this point in time, two clubs are currently in the running to try and sign him. That's obviously us, and the other club, which wasn't named, is Real Madrid. Right now, we know that Bayern Munich have ruled themselves out from signing Kai in this window. They're still hoping that he might change his opinion, change his mind and sign for the next window, but that does not seem to be the case, and that's because Kai wants to leave Leverkusen this window. So we go to Real Madrid, and right now their only hopes of potentially signing Kai this window is if they can sell players first. But this is where things get difficult, because Real Madrid, they're a club that give players massive contracts, massive wages. They've been hoping to get rid of Gareth Bale, who's on ridiculous wages like 500,000 a week. That's not going to happen during these current climates. What clubs out there have the type of money to spend that big? Who's going to damage their wage bill structure just to sign a Real Madrid player? I feel like they're not going to get that luck that they're hoping for. So I feel like Madrid's position right now is nowhere near as strong as us. And that's why reports keep stating that Madrid are also hoping that Kai may potentially stay one more season at Leverkusen before moving on. Anyway, we get back to these reports, and currently Leverkusen value Kai at around 90 million. Now this is exactly the same news that I've told you guys previously. When it comes to Havertz news, I make sure that I'm finding the right information to share with you guys, so always keep that in mind. Yes, they want 90 million for him, and what makes things promising is that our valuation for Kai isn't too far from that. We prefer to pay between 70 to 80 mil to sign him, and if you base it on the facts that Kai has told Leverkusen he wants to leave, when you base it on facts like Leverkusen having no UCL football to offer, it means that their position is not as strong right now. And I feel like they could be pressured to maybe meet our terms more, because they don't really have much of a leg to stand on. So yes, this news gets more optimistic. It just keeps encouraging us to believe that Kai is going to be our player for next season. I'm telling you, yeah, there's absolutely no way that it becomes public knowledge that Kai wants to leave Leverkusen this summer and Leverkusen don't drop their valuation for Kai. That can't work like that. There's so many things working against them right now. But anyway, you guys, I want to bring it back to why I feel confident that we are going to sign Kai and see him here next season. For me, it's pretty simple. Havertz and his team, they know all the interest from across Europe. We've seen that your Real Madrids and your Bayern Munich's, two massive clubs, have been showing the most interest, but they've been consistently saying they prefer to make a signing for him next summer. So using that logic, if Kai was thinking about playing for clubs like this, there's no way we're reading today's article. That's not happening. If that was the case instead, Today's article would be saying that Kai is willing to stay one more season at Leverkusen, basically telling us everything we need to know about how this deal is going to work out. Now, a few days prior, Christian Falk did release a tweet stating that Havertz and his team know of the interest from us. Now, that is code talk for, yes, there's been constant positive communication, positive conversations. It's quite obvious that maybe Kai is starting to get enticed by our offer, and as long as we get Champions League football, if we secure a top 4 spot, I'm telling you guys, once we do, expect the acceleration for this deal to just push on, go to a different gear, and complete very soon. So this is the perfect news to hear. You know, things keep getting better for us. You know, great win yesterday, great news early this morning. As I keep saying, we have the football, we have the league, we have the money, we have the funds, and we have his teammates too. It feels like we are creating the perfect conditions and environment to entice Kai to sign. I mean, you can't tell me that Lampard hasn't been further inspired to use a CDM system, because he isn't thinking about how Kai is going to operate in a potential system like this. I feel like everything is leaning towards the signing. Again, this is my opinion, but right now, the only thing that we have to worry about is meeting the valuation that Leverkusen want. I think over time, things will work in our favor, meaning that we don't have to pay the same amount of money that Leverkusen want for Kai in the first place, and I'm sure that we'll find some favorable ways to just bring that deal down. It could be through installments, which have been suggested throughout the press today, which is fairly obvious because big signings like this, they're not paid in cash up front. They're obviously paid in installments over months, over years. That's how the costs get amortized. That's how it works. So when I read information like that, it's not really news, you know? The only thing that was interesting was the proposed amount that we would pay. So that would basically be 70 million euros paid up front, with an additional 30 million euros paid over the following years too. So, you know, with deals like this, they tend to get paid in a similar manner. It seems quite realistic, and I think if we did meet these demands, it is like the best of both worlds. So that's really the main concern at this point in time, and you know, I think it's a good position to be in. If we're only worried about meeting the final fee and just coming to that final price compared to whether Kai even wants to sign for us in the first place, I think that is a much better place to be in. I keep feeling even more confident that Kai is going to be our player. There's so many circumstances and factors, so many advantages that we have that keep growing and growing as the days come and go. I can't help it, you guys. I just feel like Kai is going to be our player. So in the comments below, tell me how you feel. Are you excited by today's news? Do you think that Kai is going to be our player? Or do you think that we're getting a bit too excited? We should calm down a bit. Anything can happen. And you're still feeling pretty pessimistic. Let me know below, you guys. We now move on to the second story. And this came out early today. And it's suggesting that we could be seeing this 5-sub rule extended to the following season. The main reason and logic behind this is that next season, the new season is going to be delayed again, meaning that there could be potential fitness concerns and injury concerns to worry about. So in that sense, continuing the 5-sub rule. So in that sense, keeping the 5-sub rule is going to help players maintain their fitness, reduce injuries, and allow managers to manage their squads even better. So there are some positives and definitely some negative behind these new proposals. Now, to start with the negative first, that first one is that this rule will naturally favor the big teams. Teams like us. I've mentioned time and time again that this new rule was definitely going to give us an advantage throughout the restart period because we have so many options on the bench that can turn a game, can provide something new, can provide solutions to issues that we might face in game 2. And as we've seen, due to the impact that subs have made under Frank Lampard, it really is working in our favour. So imagine next season we have even better players here, your Werners, your Ziyech's, so many other ones too, alongside the current quality in this team. I feel like we could have a really big advantage again. Now, we aren't the only big team that could profit too. Teams like your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Arsenals, etc, etc, they could have that advantage in-game against your smaller teams, holding on to a lead, parking the bus, fighting desperately to try and get something from a game. Another positive is that this will help teams blood younger players into their teams. Now, if I was a young player knowing that there's 2 extra spots available on the bench, that's going to motivate me even more. That's going to make me even more hungry, and, you know, due to having extra options, there's so many in-game scenarios where we could be leading by 3, 4, 5 goals with like 20 minutes spare. That's the perfect time to use a young player in a pressure-free environment, give them time, and assess how they do. But for my final reason, I think this could be abused. Honestly, I think this could definitely be abused. I think if, let's say you're a Mourinho, let's say Spurs are holding on to a lead, you could effectively just swap half the team off, bring on the new half for the final 10-15 minutes, and get that advantage in stamina and fitness, closing down ground faster, closing those spaces quicker, etc, etc. Hell, you could even waste time like crazy. Make a sub every 2 minutes in the final 10 minutes. I think when it comes to those implications, that's going to depend on the manager. It's going to depend on so many different factors too, but having the use of 5 subs opens up even new tactical possibilities, tactical implications, and at this point in time, I'm still not too sure how to feel about things. I mean, yeah, I know it's going to benefit us, but I'm also someone that loves the game, that likes football. You know, I like competition. I like things to be an even playing field, and I don't like the idea of us profiting, and I personally don't like the idea of only the big clubs profiting from things like this, with the other clubs not getting those same advantages. That's only my opinion. I'm going to be thinking about this even more. It's definitely going to change over time, but we end things with the final story, you guys, and that is the latest surrounding Michy Batshuayi. Now, news coming out from France, Belgium and England state that yes, Michy Batshuayi is a dead cert to leave. He has interest from a host of Premier League teams. However, the main stumbling block at this point in time is that no one wants to spend that 40 million valuation the club have placed on his head. You know, I mentioned in a previous video, could we potentially be fumbling things by making the same mistake again, asking for way too much money for players that aren't anywhere near worth that value? I think that's the reality. I mean, yeah, Michy's had some great moments for us, but in the general scheme of things, he is not a 40 million striker. West Ham and Crystal Palace are showing the most interest right now. However, they aren't going to spend that amount of money to bring them to their clubs. In the case of West Ham, hopefully we could do a potential deal that could involve maybe Michy going towards them, that could involve Michy signing for them, staying in London, which a player would prefer to do, and hopefully bringing that price down for a Declan Rice. And in that sense, maybe that's why we're very strict with the valuation we're placing on Michy. Maybe the club feel like they have a plan, they have an idea on how they want to use him to maybe bring down the price and valuation for other targets they're looking at. And in that case, a Declan Rice and Michy deal could make a ton of sense. Keeping Michy's value high is going to be great to bring down the overall value of a Declan Rice transfer. So in that sense, I can see why the club are doing this. I just hope that this gamble just doesn't blow up in our faces in the end. And I think at times we have so many schemes and plans that do work. The reason why I say this is because right now, Michy has like a year or two left on his deal, meaning that there's no way you could justifiably receive that amount of money if you sold the player. So I think as the season goes on, I think once we've definitely secured a Champions League spot, there's going to be even more developments, there'll be even more news, things are going to take off to an even different level. It's going to be mad times, you guys, and for those times, make sure you tune in to Blue Lions TV. On that note, I'm going to wrap things up now and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. I'm Michy FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.